Welcome everyone. So in this lecture we are going to learn the application of derivative part, which is the chapter 6 of class 12. So basically before learning this chapter, what you need to learn is the class 11 part of limits and derivative, which I have already covered in the previous videos. So before going to learn the application of derivative, you need to learn what is derivative. Concept of derivative is already discussed, but the application part where we normally use derivative in real world. So first of all, derivative. So the concept of derivative is normally encountered when we are when you are studying some physical problems where change is occurring. Let's suppose there is a man which is walking from his home to his office. So let's suppose when this is his home and this is his office. Let's suppose he start from his home at 9 a.m. So the office, let's say, start at 10 a.m. So now when he is going to move from his home to his office, let's suppose this is a distance of, let's suppose 20 kilometers. Let's suppose this is from Chanmari to Jalukbari or something of that sort. So when he is going from home to his office, he need to travel with the help of some public transport or with the help of his own car also. Let's suppose he is going with the help of his own car. So when he is driving from his home to his office, he need to have some speed. Now again, to cover 20 kilometers in an hour, you need to have the speed of 20 kilometers per hour, which the concept of speed is you have already learned in class 9 or class 10. This is the concept of speed is distance divided by time. So the change in distance divided by change in time will always give you the average speed. So when you say that this car is having a speed of 20 km per hour so as to reach his home from 9 a.m. to reach his home at 9 a.m. to his office at 10 a.m. So the speed is 20 km. But when you think about this speed, if you have a practical view of this value 20 km per hour, this is not a very much bigger value. When you travel in your car, you can always give the dial, which always indicate the speed at which your car is moving. After you watch this lecture, I encourage you to watch any travel with the help of any car or any bus, and you can always see that whenever the bus starts, the pointer is here, but when it starts, then it can have 20, 40, 60. So basically, you can always observe practically that the any public or any private car in Guwahati always drive this between this range 40 to 60. So to reach home from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. he need not always need 1 hour. But there is a concept of traffic jam which everybody knows. So the bus cannot travel by a uniform speed. That is, it cannot travel by 40 km per hour for the 1 hour exactly. It has to stop somewhere to get the passengers. Also, if you are traveling with the help of a car, you need to have some stoppage during your journey. So basically, we can always see that if the car has the capacity to run at 60 km per hour, or it can run at 40 km per hour, but it never reaches a distance of 20 km per hour. It never reaches this distance in 1 hour. It can have this distance in 20 minutes, or it can have the distance in 1.5 hour also. Therefore, we always need the average speed. But more than that, you need to always have the concept of instantaneous speed. That is, at any instant, at what speed the car is moving or the bus is moving. So, to get the feel of this instantaneous speed, this concept of derivative has been discussed from more than a century already. So the thing is that to reach from 9 a.m. from his home from his home at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. you will have variable speed. Like when you start, there will be 0 km per hour. Then you can have 40 km per hour. Then again you can have 25, 20, 10, then again 50. So this is a variable speed. It always varies. So to determine instantaneous speed, we need to have derivative. So if you observe clearly or closely, you can always see some example in your house, in your home, everywhere, in your office, in your school, that there are some physical event going on which depend on time, and it varies along with time. Suppose you are having a cup of tea in your house. In the evening you are having a cup of tea. The temperature of the tea doesn't remain constant every time. Suppose you are having tea at 5 p.m. Suppose you went outside for some of your work, and when you return, let's suppose this is 5:10 p.m. Then if earlier it is 50 degrees Celsius, now it will come down to 20 degrees Celsius. So everything is changing with time. So to catch this type of picture, so at what time, at what cooling rate this cup is, the amount of substance in the cup is cooling, everything related to time, and to denote this sense, we need to have the concept of derivative. So in this chapter, we are going to start this kind of problem only. But before applying the formula, you always need to have some basic feel of what type of problem we are dealing here. We are dealing here every kind of physical problem which have some sense of change with respect to time or any other kind of parameters. So let's start our chapter. First, we will study the rate of change. Rate of change with respect to time. Now, when we study rate of change with respect to time, we have a term velocity, which is ds by dt, where s is distance. It is proper to say this is displacement, not distance. So this is velocity, which is ds by dt. So now I am going to discuss some problem from which you will get the better understanding of what I mean to say rate of change with respect to time. So the first problem is like this. So the question is, find the rate of change of the area of a circle per second with respect to its radius r, when r equal to 5 centimeter. So what we are given here is that we need to find the rate of change of area of a circle per second. So here the time comes. So we are given find the rate of change of the area of a circle per second with respect to its radius. So this is radius when radius is 5 centimeter. So here this is a circle. It is having some arbitrary radius, let's say small r, and we are going to find out the rate of change of area. So this problem you can have the physical picture of a pond. So in your village or in your city also there are ponds in which if you throw a stone, you can always get the feel of this problem. Like when you throw a stone, there are some waves of disturbance which propagates from the point of impact to the surface of the pond. So this is the same kind of problem which we will have some mathematical expression. So this is the physical picture of this problem. So the thing is that we are going to find out the area and we need to find out the change in area with respect to time. So area of a circle is given by pi r square. So to determine the rate of change of area, what we need to find is dA by dt. So when we determine the derivative of area with respect to time, we will get the rate of change of area. So area is pi r square. So this is dA by dt, which is pi. Pi is a constant, so it will come out of the derivative. Then we will going to derive r square, which is 2r. Okay. Then we will going to write dr by dt. So this is a example where we are going to where we are finding out the derivative of area with the help of chain rule. So to have the idea of chain rule is very important when we are finding out when we are starting the application of derivative chapter. So I have already discussed the chain rule. You can watch it in the previous lecture also. So here, if I simplify, this is twice pi r into dr by dt. So here r is given, which is 5 centimeter. Okay, so this is pi 5 centimeter. This is dr by dt. So the expression will be 10 pi dr by dt. So this is the expression for our question, where we are given find the rate of change of area of a circle per second with respect to its radius r when r is 5 centimeter. So we are finding out the rate of change of area in terms of rate of change of radius. If suppose we are given the rate of change of radius, then we can always find out the rate of change of area. Okay. So this is a physical problem which involves the concept of application of derivative. So we are given here that a stone is dropped into a quiet lake and waves move in a circle at the speed of 4 centimeter per second. So we are given the speed of propagation of disturbance, which are waves, at 4 centimeter per second. So at the instant when the radius of the circular wave is 10 centimeter, so at a particular radius which is 10 centimeter, they are given how fast is the enclosed area increasing. So if this is a pond, I am disturbing here, then I can get this kind of waves propagating towards the surface of the pond. So now we are given a particular radius, and at that instant we are given how fast is the area increasing. So from solution, area equal to pi r square. So to determine the radius of change, we can have dA by dt equal to, again pi is the constant, so it will come out of the differentiation and we will get twice r and dr by dt. So we will get twice pi r dr by dt. So now we are given here how fast is the area increasing. The area is increasing with respect to time, so we are need to find dA by dt, which will be equal to twice pi r here is 10 centimeter, so 10 into dr by dt. So dr by dt, when this is a circle, the circle will move outward peripherally. That is the circle will move outward radially, and the radial speed of this wave will be given as 4 centimeter, which is given by dr by dt. So this is dr by dt, which is equal to 4 centimeter. So we will add 4 centimeter. So when we simplify, we can have 4 into 10 40, 40 into 10 80, 80 pi. So this is changing with 80 pi centimeter square per second. So this is a physical problem where you can have the concept of derivative, and you can clearly see why we need the concept of derivative. So now again I am going to see another problem of ladder. So the ladder problems are very important in exams also, and to understand it also. So the concept behind ladder is that, suppose this is a wall in your house, this is a corner of the house, this is the wall, and this is the ground. So this is a ladder which I am representing it with the straight line. So when suppose a man is in this ladder, so due to the weight of this man, this ladder will come down. So the basic intuition here is that when this ladder comes, this point will be moving downward and this will slide. So basically, if at t equal to 0, this is the situation of the ladder. Suppose at t equal to t1, this ladder will come here. So this is called the falling of the ladder. So this point which is in contact with the surface of the wall will be moving towards downwards, and the point which is in the surface or the ground will move in this direction. So depending upon this constraint, we will solve a problem of ladder. So the problem says that this is a problem of exercise 6.1, and the problem number is 10. This is a very excellent problem. A ladder 5 meter long is leaning against a wall. The bottom of the ladder is pulled along the ground away from the wall. Away from the wall at the rate 2 centimeter per second. So how fast is its height on the wall decreasing when the foot of the ladder is 4 meter away from the wall. So basically this is the problem. Here a ladder is given which is against the wall. So this is a ladder which is leaning against the wall. The bottom of the ladder is pulled along the ground away from the wall at the rate of 2 centimeter per second. that is this point, is moving here as 2 centimeter per second. So how fast is its height on the wall decreasing when the foot of the ladder is 4 meter away from the wall? So we are given a situation in which we need to determine at which rate this point is moving downward, and at that instant when this point, which is the foot of the ladder, is away from this wall at 4 meter from the wall. Yes, this is 4 meter from the wall. So this is the problem. We need to find out the speed at which this point will move downwards so as to have 2 centimeter per second speed, and the distance of this point from the wall at that instant is 4 meter. So to solve this problem, I can write, we are given the length of the ladder. So length of the ladder is 5 meter. This point, which is at this point, is 4 meter. So from the Pythagoras theorem, we can write this. Let's suppose this is this is h. So h will be h square plus 4 square equal to 5 square. So h square will be 5 square minus 4 square. So h will be root over 25 minus 16. So it will be 9, which will be 3. So this h will be 3 meter. So to find out the relation between the falling of this ladder and the moving of this point, we can always write, let's suppose this is L, this is H, and this is B. So from Pythagoras theorem, I can write H square plus B square equal to L square. Here we know all these values, but first of all we need to have a functional relationship so that we can determine the rate of change of these parameters. So now when we take the derivative of this expression in the left hand side and the right hand side, I can have twice h dh by dt equal plus twice b db by dt equal to L. Here L is constant because at every instant, if you can see here, at every instant the length of the ladder will not change, but this dimension and this dimension will always change. So I can say that at any instant 3 meter and 4 meter is the dimension here, but some other moment it can be 2, it can be 6, anything, but 5 meter will always be 5 meter. So if when I take the derivative of L square, it is a constant, so I will have 0. So when I divide the expression by 2, I will have h dh by dt plus b db by dt equal to 0. Now here in the question we were given the value of this 2 centimeter per second, that is this term, that is the b is expanding or increasing at which rate. So db by dt will be 4 centimeter. So we need to find out the dh, that is how at which rate the h is decreasing. So I will write dh. So b, this is 4 equal to 0. Sorry, this is 2. When I simplify, I can have at that instant h is 3 dh by dt plus b is 4, 2, so this is 0. Let's suppose this is centimeters, so that I no need to change the value. So this is 3, this is dh by t, this is 8. So this is dh by dt. So minus 8 by 3 will be the answer. This is the height decreasing at which rate, this is 8 by 3. Here minus sign signifies that this change. There are when I write change, this change can be increasing, or rather it can be decreasing also. when I denote increasing by positive, the decreasing should have to be negative. It is a normal convention to write increasing as positive, decreasing as negative, so that here B is increasing. So I am writing dB by dt as plus 2 here, not minus 2. So H is decreasing, so H will be minus, so dH by dt will be minus. So from here we can see the physical interpretation that when B is increasing, H will be decreasing, so dH by dt will be 8 by 3. So this is a basic example of lather problem. Now I will solve another good question which is in the example. This is a sand problem. So this is a physical problem which states that sand is pouring from a pipe at the rate of 12 centimeter cube per second. So falling sand forms a cone on the ground in such a way that the height of the cone is always 1/6 of the radius of the base. So they are asking how fast is the height of the sand increasing when the height is 4 centimeter. So when we solve this kind of problem, our concept becomes clear. But from this line, we need to deduce the mathematical expression to find out the derivative, as this is a problem of application derivative part. So the thing is that, let's suppose there is a container in which sand is kept. So sand is pouring from that here given pipe. So the sand is pouring from the pipe at the rate of 12 centimeter cube per second. So the falling sand form a cone in the ground. Let's suppose this is the cone. So this is the cone of sand which is formed on the ground. Here it is given that the height of the cone is always 1/6 of the radius of the base. So this is the radius. This is not a triangle, this is a cone. This is like this only. So this is the radius of the base and this is height. So this is the height and this is the radius of the cone. So from here we can write volume of the cone as 1/3 pi r square h. So now it is given, there are another relation here is that 1/6 the height of the cone is always 1/6 of the radius of the base, that is h is equal to r by 6. So this is an information given in the question. So now we are given how fast is the height of the sand increasing. So when there are terms such as increasing, we need to find out the derivative of height with respect to time. So we need to find dH by dt. So let's replace R in this volume expression, that is volume 1/3 pi r square. So 1/3 pi, R will be 36 h square into h. So this will be volume 30, this will be 12. So 12 pi h cube. So now we need to have the change. So to have the change, we need to derive the both sides. So we will have dV by dt equal to 12 pi is the constant, so it will come out of the derivative, and this will be 3 h square. So this will be 36 pi h square. So we are given here that sand is pouring from a pipe at the rate of 12 centimeter cube per second. So this is basically the dV by dt part, that is the volume by time. So this will be 12 36 pi h, sorry, here one term is missing, that is dH by dt. Sorry. So here 36 pi h is given here is as 4 centimeter. So this will be 16. So dH by dt. So we can simplify it as 3. So I can write it as dH by dt as 1/48 pi. So this is the final answer. You can simplify it further by putting the value of pi, or you can put 12/7 also to get the simplify value. So this is the answer. So basically what we have seen in this lecture is derivative has some very physical meaning and understanding and application also. And by this kind of sand problem, what we have seen, this is a sand problem, pouring of sand problem. Then we have already seen change in area of a circle, change in area of a circle in a pond. So these are the kind of rate of change of problem. You can also find some another type of problem in which some physical situation is given, and you need to have some need to find some value of change. So this is the basic concept in this first part of application derivative, that is rate of change. So in the next part we are going to study the increasing and decreasing functions, which have very important role in determining the maxima minima. Then we can also find out the approximate values of different functions, also different points, such as we can find out the value of 36.6. We know value of root over 36, but we don't have value of root over 36.6. You can use the calculator, but in the exam you will not be given any calculator to find out this value. So how can we find out this value with the help of calculus? We will see in the next lecture. So if you have any doubt till now, you can comment it down below, and I will answer to your doubt in the comment also. So thank you. Meet you in the next lecture.